Hello, everyone. Today I had someone, Kaushikan, and he's very passionate about ghosts and haunted houses. So I thought, why not we have a conversation about ghosts and my opinion and his opinion and about this whole world called ghosts. Yeah.
Thanks
So
for the
Kaushikan,
introduction, Dilmi.
yeah, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so where do you want to start with? Do you want me to introduce myself?
Yeah, if you want, yeah, for sure, yeah, please.
Not if I
I
want,
think
if you
that is,
ask me
it's
to.
just, I don't think the introduction that I gave is enough. Like I
I
said
guess
that
that's
you're very
pretty enough.
passionate. That's very, let's
Yeah,
go
that's
with
pretty
it
enough.
then. Yeah.
Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about ghosts.
Yes, let's do it.
Yeah, sounds fun, huh? I've never done this before, so yeah, definitely sounds fun for me.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Um,
course. Yeah.
so I'll ask you the first question.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you want? Okay. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because always the ladies first, yeah, to answer. So
Yeah.
have you personally had any kind of experiences related to ghosts?
I think that's a very good question. I really expected that anyway. So,
Mhm.
yes, yes. My
So
answer
what?
would be yes.
So what was that?
Let me share that I think in 2017, yeah, in 2017, I had my grandmother, grandmother passed away already. And
Hmm.
when she was at home, she was very sick because she was like 93 years old.
Hmm.
And then I remember she couldn't go to the washroom or anything like that because she had to everything was happening on the bed and she couldn't go to the toilet and all that. So it was very, she was very sick. And
Okay.
then there was since she was very sick and all these things happening within her, there was a
Hmm.
smell which came from her room, kind of a smell. And
Okay.
then I realized even after she passed away, and I remember that we were planning like an event for
Hmm.
her funeral. There are funerals and rituals like in Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
After the funeral, there are after 7 days, we need to do some more like events and rituals. And even after
Hmm.
3 months, there's again events and rituals happening.
Hmm.
And so likewise, we were planning, I think, 1 year event,
Okay.
there's a sermon and then there's almsgiving to the temple. And when we were really planning for this, for some reason, I get this smell because it was in the first floor and then I'm in the second floor. But for me, I get this smell. And
The smell.
before,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that the smell which came from the room, I mean, I
Okay.
know that doesn't sound so uh, good, and then
No, I
I
mean
was
it's
like, oh
interesting.
no, yeah. So, and then I'm like, what's going on in here? No, I really feel like that she's here, because I get the smell.
Hmm.
I feel like she's roaming around here somewhere. And I don't know. Oh, this is the smell, And then it's like I just started telling my family as well.
Hmm.
And then they started telling me, even I got that. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, this is this is really happening. She's here. And
Okay.
then I at that time I haven't gone through any like I mean I think those who are already following me, they are aware about my awakening. But at this
Hmm.
time I haven't gone through the awakening. And
Hmm.
I was open. I didn't know really the ghost exist or not. But then I really felt like there's something going on at my home. This granny is there somewhere. And also she was very angry.
Hmm.
She was I remember when her last days she was very angry, So I was like, wow, like she's here. And then I had no choice. Like I honestly felt like fear, and then I was like, I need to find a solution for this, And then I had no choice but to. I had the opportunity to talk to my teacher, the Buddhist monk.
Okay.
And then.
And what does he have to say about it?
Yes, exactly. Then I just shared my story and all that, and then he gave me a very interesting answer. Which is? All my fears went away. And what he shared is like he said that like you were planning event, right? The sermon and dance game. I said yes. And then he said, since you were planning that event, all those memories were coming out of you. Like my granny and all that memories, like that if you take the granny and that smell and all that is connected with that memory. So since I was planning and was thinking about her, those memories were coming within me. And I was like, wow, that's real. And all my fears went away, and then there was very solid, And I realized that's exactly what's happening with the ghost.
Okay, so you kind of blame it all on memory, yeah?
I'm not really about to blame or anything like that. But let me tell you, that's exactly what's really happening. It just, I mean, like I can say that the root cause of all it could be that you were growing up with it, like how you got the whole seed for it. Could be like you were growing up with people who were sharing these ghost stories, and then the seeds started planting inside you. And on top of that, there's so much fear. Like if you take, most of the people live so much in fear, and then all this, and then these things started sprouting within someone, and then like, wherever you enter, like wherever your attention goes, energy flows. Like imagine you want to buy like a Prius or something like that. Everywhere you start with Prius. Am I right?
Yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, Prius is something that I like, so that's why I took it. Anyway, so what I was telling, okay. So just like that, now you start seeing things which is confirming the beliefs that you already have, And because here's the thing, what you see as reality, you don't see the reality as it is. What you see as reality is filtering through your beliefs, Because your mind, your world equals, like your mind equals your world.
Exactly, yeah. If I had no mind, then the universe would cease to exist for me. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what the awakening, if you know like about the awakening, like about the awakening happens when there's no mind. It's a state of no mind.
Yeah. I guess it all comes down to who you are at the end, Like there's a famous saying, about back where I come from in India, and it goes like this. So the corpses of tomorrow are crying around the corpse of today. So you can also take it like this. The ghosts of tomorrow are afraid of the ghosts of today. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, like, what are we basically? Like, are we really different than the ghosts that we're experiencing in our lives? Or like, what are we? Like, what is the relationship between us and the ghost or whatever that we're experiencing? I think that needs to be found out, like that needs to be pondered on.
You mean the relationship between ghost and who we are?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So when you really find out who you are, you'll see that there's absolutely no difference between you and the ghost?
That's a very good something that is very exactly. It's
You
exactly
basically the
right,
same.
Yeah, exactly. Basically
So,
the same. That's a good one. Yeah.
what is the point of being scared of it? Like you're just seeing yourself.
Exactly, because if you take ghosts are nothing but your own mental construct.
Absolutely,
that is
yeah.
what you experience in your mind. That's what I said. Your mind recalls to your world.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
So
But
there is
here's
this.
the thing, Kaushik, and there's another thing. Like if you take someone who is going through experiences of ghost, they can't really resonate with what you are sharing with. Do you understand? They could be really feeling that, no, like what Dilmi says, I can't even resonate with them. Like I really have experience.
Oh yeah.
In
Not
my
just
life,
one or two people,
Yes,
like
there are so
several people.
many.
Yeah.
And there are people who even ask me questions about ghosts,
Yeah. And there are so many people. Yeah, there's so many people who are looking for prayers, looking for ways to defend themselves, from all these things, and they give up. They give themselves up to that fear, and that doesn't resolve. That doesn't help, So
Yeah.
So what is the root cause of all this? Like that needs to be found out. What is the root cause?
Root cause, I could say it's all comes to like so much fears. You've been growing up with so much fear, and plus, like as I previously mentioned, there's a seed which planted as a child. You must have heard many stories about ghosts from other people.
Yes.
And you must have experienced ghosts for real with the movies. If you take a horror movie, like there's so much influence. It's like visually, when you're watching a movie, you literally feel all your senses are in that. That's why some people are even crying while watching a movie, because you literally feel like that is happening to you. For example, I am very empathic. When I'm watching a movie, I literally sometimes there were times that when someone is going through pain, I literally feel that pain as if it's my pain, so I could understand. So what we were talking, yeah.
So we're talking about the root cause of it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Root cause.
You're so cute.
So yeah, I know, right? Like sometimes. So yeah. So like people just, that is how I got influenced by this. Like I just used to watch so much horror movies in my life, and then I watch these movies, and to a point that I can't even go to the bathroom by myself. In the past, honestly, because those things just, I told you, it's just memory coming up.
Absolutely. So what?
Like inputs, process, output. I always even teach this model to my clients too. Inputs, process, output. If you're putting constantly to your mind all this junk inside this, so that is what process and output. You'll be experiencing ghosts everywhere. No joke. And so that's why, like, honestly, let me tell you, Kaushik, there were times that, like, in the past, so many years back, like, I wanted to, like, I'm so scared to sleep, and if my legs were out from the bed, I'm so afraid that someone could just drag it and pull it and
the craziest thing about that is it's not someone physical, is it?
Yeah, it's not physical. I think the people should be afraid of the people and the ghosts.
That's what, yeah. They're more dangerous than all these beautiful beings, yeah.
It's what I think as well.
So let me ask you a question, before we move on to the next thing. So you're saying that people are only suffering their memory. So if I go by that, would it be
But
true?
I don't think that is very helpful for someone who is really going through real experiences, you know. And just by hearing that wouldn't really help them.
Yeah, but the idea is to find a way to really help that someone. You know? So let's dive into it a bit deeper. So if I said that someone who has Alzheimer's, for example, you know, someone who has lost his memory and lost completely the sense of himself or herself, would that person still be afraid of a ghost if he or she sees one?
I think he would be very curious of this thing.
They would be very curious, yeah?
Curious would be like, what is this thing? You know, it would be very curious.
So
yeah.
When that, you know, when the past, you know, has completely been detached, you know, when there is no memory, you know, when memory isn't affecting you at all, you'll have no fear, basically, you know. So the root cause of fear is the attachment to the past. You know, my memory of a ghost, my memory of seeing someone, my grandmother, stuff like that. And then that memory, you know, works in.
And also, Kaushik, if you take future, it's nothing but the projection of your past.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know,
which
so it's just that's it. Here. And then you project
and both
all
are
this,
illusions.
like
yeah?
that, exactly, both are illusions, and that's what we say that in Hinduism it says life is a Maya, which is to say life is an illusion, obviously. Yeah.
Absolutely, but then, like, how is one supposed to detach himself or herself from both the illusions, both the past and the future?
That's a good question. Living in the present moment, you know. That is how you can get detached, and you know, just by you anchoring yourself in the present moment.
You mean to say by being aware that both of these things are illusions? Yeah, past is an illusion, future is an illusion,
exactly.
and you being completely aware of that, you know, and seeing that as a lie, nothing else than a lie. You know, past and the future are lies. They do not exist. They only exist in our heads.
Mind. Yeah. If you take really Kaushik, like your past is nothing but thoughts. You know, if you really, and in fact, your memory is not even really accurate. Like it's very self-biased way even we remember the memory. You know, it's not even objectively what really happened in the memory. Just we are very biased towards even that is we are completely subjective the memory as well. If you see like what you remember, like imagine something happened in your life, some event like a trauma, you know, that memory you remember in a one way and objectively it has happened in another way. So you can see that that itself is an illusion. And if you take your memory is nothing but a thought in the present moment.
Absolutely. You know? So it's just
and it's just
thought. Yeah.
Exactly.
So if one stops thought, one stops the memory.
Can't stop thoughts, right?
I mean, that's a question I'm asking you. Is it even possible
to stop your thoughts?
Yes.
No, it's not possible. The reason why is like we can stop something if we have the control of that. But unfortunately, you are not your mind. So you don't have the control of your mind. That's why we just, go deep in the spirituality. You are not your mind. Or if mind is ours, then we have the control of it. But unfortunately, we cannot control it because we are not the mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in controlling, first of all, because it's only a means of suppression. The more and more you suppress it, the harder it's going to come back. The lid is going to go crazy. So I don't see the point in controlling. But my question is, like I understand when you're saying that, thought is the root of memory. I totally agree with you on that. But what I disagree with you on is that human beings cannot stop thinking. You see,
Like, here's the thing, what I'm saying is you have no control over your mind. And that's the basis of, like, like, if you can control, I mean, then you should be your mind. Do you
that's it.
understand what
Like
I'm
that, that's where
saying?
that's where that's where the answer lies. Like the
Mm.
moment you see that you are not your mind,
Mm-hmm.
you see its chatter. It's constant chatter. It chatters you.
Yes,
It's
yes,
like a
yes,
bubble. It like
yes,
pops up
yes.
all sorts of different thoughts and all that.
Mm.
But the moment you see that, you kind of separate yourself from the mind. You kind of put a distance between you and
Mm-hmm.
your mind.
Yes, yeah.
And then that distance, is so great when you completely realize that you're not your mind. The mind cannot even touch you. Like the mind, the thoughts, whatever, it will
Mm.
not even touch you when you are in realization of
Weakness,
yourself, of who
weakness.
you are.
Yeah. It's like you said that you become the witness of your mind.
Absolutely. You're the
Yeah.
witness, like you're not a
Mm.
thought. Thought just
Mm.
thought is limited, like thought
Exactly.
appears,
But what
disappears.
happens is we are identified. It's like mind is there and the thoughts are there, and then we are identified with it.
Absolutely. And then with that
Yeah.
identification, we think that we are our thoughts, and then like we let the thought have all the control over us.
Exactly. It's mind. Now we like, in reality, we are supposed to be the master and the mind supposed to be the servant. But what has happened is the other way around.
Yeah.
Mind is like really slaving us. And that is
Yeah.
what has happened. And that is what even what you call this whole ghost problem as well. This mind
Yeah.
has completely taken over. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
But
yes.
but like even if we say all this, like I think I've talked to you about this already. So I have a friend of mine, who has experienced so many bad stuff. I don't even know
Uh-huh.
if that's an imagination or that he has really experienced all these things, but I really don't know that. But he's gone through so much of like gory stuff, in regards to the ghosts. And
Uh-huh.
it to me it seems very hard, like for him to really come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't be
Exactly.
that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but we don't know, Kaushik, and that what he's really going through and what he has gone through really, until we, because like, I mean, we can imagine how it's like, but we really not know what it was like to go through what he has gone through.
Yes, but the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
when we see that, when we see him
yeah.
suffer, when we see him suffer his imaginations, his memory, and all that,
Mm,
uh, I'm kind of thinking um, I'm thinking about a way, that I can uh, help him with.
mm,
So a way for him to realize that he's only suffering his memory.
mm,
He's not
mm,
suffering, and
mm,
there is a
mm,
big difference between him and suffering.
mm,
And so if we approach this problem, through a psychological method, um,
mm,
I mean, basically, if you go to a psychologist and you tell him that you're afraid of ghosts and all that, uh,
mm,
the psychologist, would just start with correcting on the external stuff. Yeah.
mm.
As in, try to stay in darker places, try to be alone, try to do all this.
Mhm,
I
mm.
mean, does that work according to you? A correction of the external world.
Uh, well, to a certain extent, for if I take, like, if you do some like external things, for example, if you stop watching all these haunted movies and horror movies, that would immensely help you. You know, that would immensely help you, and also like staying in the dark. Yes, I think that also could help you because you get used to being in the dark, and that is also very I mean, it's good as well. And what is the next thing you shared?
I mean, a lot of things, like stop watching horror movies,
Okay. Yes,
stuff
yes,
like that. I mean,
yes.
I just wanted to know whether all these things will actually help someone who's really afraid of.
Yes, that could also help. But what I believe is you need to work within yourself. That is
Mm-hmm,
the most important thing as far as I believe. Because you are experiencing your mind at the
mm-hmm,
end. That is the truth. So it's all about like understanding your mind and going within inside you. And I believe those people who are going through all this have so much fears, and definitely believe that they have a block in their root chakra as well, where they have difficulty in grounding themselves too, you know.
mm-hmm.
And so what they need to do is work with their own fears, own demons within
Absolutely, yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing. More than external, I believe you need to emphasize on going within you and
Within going to the
meditate
root of it.
upon,
Yeah.
exactly. Meditate upon and go within yourself would be the ideal method as far as I believe, like meditating and seeing it for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're talking about. And
Yeah.
I think that answers the question, basically what can a person do to lose the fear of ghosts and all that. Um, and we conclude this on the statement that we are afraid only of we are suffering only our memory,
Hmm. I can
and
also adapt more things that people can do in order, like for them to like,
oh, please,
you
by
know,
all means, yeah.
yes, yes, yes. For example, like you are, I mean, how long we are going to do the
Uh,
talk for
ho-
here?
However long, it requires us to
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't have any, like, okay. So one thing you can do is you must be having so much fears in your life, for sure. Start
Hmm.
focusing on root chakra, and then start grounding yourself. So like
What do
it's
you mean
all
by
root
root chakra?
chakra is root chakra is, like there are, yeah, let me tell you, there are 7 chakras within your body, and those are energy centers in you. Those are not physically there, but these are like energy centers within you. Root chakra is like the root, like if you take it is like below the navel, like, that
Hmm.
area, like you have the root chakra.
Hmm.
And
And I got a question, regarding that. So we're saying that these are not physical
oh yeah,
things.
energetic.
So I just wanted to ask you whether these are imaginations.
I don't think so. Those are just imaginations, like it is there. What do you mean?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Imaginations, yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
when you sit and meditate, on your root chakra, you think
yeah.
of a chakra,
It's
like
not
whatever
just, I'm
chakra.
not saying just meditate. Like when you're dealing with your root chakra, there are challenges you need to do. You need to start facing your own fear,
Mm-hmm.
because you like someone who gets the block of root chakra is because in their childhood they haven't had a safe environment growing up, you
Mm-hmm.
know and they have a poor mother bonding, and things like that. And so basically they haven't had a very secure environment growing up, so there's so much, like they feel unsafe as a child growing up. So that is the number one reason why your root chakra is getting blocked. You
Okay.
need to ground within yourself to the earth. You need to trust life. That life, I mean, this earth is just supporting you. There's so much abundance, and so it's very important that you're grounding yourself to the earth. Like if you take a plant, if it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a solid root, it can't really go up in the uh, air. Like it just can't grow because it needs a solid root. So just like that,
Yes.
if we don't have a solid root chakra which is grounded, we can't really grow as a person. Not even we can't grow as spiritually as well. It's very important that you're grounded, and yes, and that is one thing. And the second thing you can do about it is stop watching horror movies. Because I literally, honestly, this is honestly very important, Kaushik, and no joke.
Okay.
Because I remember that in Paranormal Activity, I think I watched this
The movie?
paranormal. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the camera thing?
Oh, yes, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, like I remember there was this one scene
Mm-hmm.
that the husband and wife is just sleeping on the bed, and then suddenly the wife just gets up and just looking at the husband.
Mm-hmm.
That is so weird and so scary,
Yeah.
And I remember those like I remember when after I watched it, and I remember there was time that I was like sleeping with my brother, and I was like, I didn't even trust him, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel even trusting him because of this memory that I had, like while watching this movie.
Yeah.
So this stuff really affecting me. As we talked about that, the memories
Yeah, the
do
memory.
affect, like, and then that is as I said, past, future is nothing but the projection of your past. So that your mind is very sophisticated. It can create many ways that the memory and take that memory and create very creative and create more stuff in you which you get afraid. Do you understand? Because
Absolutely.
with the things
Absolutely.
that you already stored inside this, so it's very important that you put, like, you take inputs as very conscious material, not really really this ghost kind of stuff, and you're constantly feeding those things will really affect you. So it's very important. You don't like really watch these movies constantly if you have a fear around ghosts. Like, stay away from those, just stay away, and then eventually you'll get to a place that it really doesn't bother you. So it's very important, as I believe. And third thing I would like to share, because I was contemplating before I come for this session, how I can really support people.
Okay.
So, and the third thing I could say is, if you see something off, somewhere, just go towards it or go away from it, face it. For example, I remember one time, and me and my niece were there, and then we just we had to, like, there were just two swings, and we just like had gone through on the swing and then came back. And then I realized, so even after a lot of time after we stopped it, it is still swinging as if someone is going
They're
on
still
the
there, yeah.
swing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
So what did you do?
what's going on in this? And then I was like, okay, let me ask from the person, like, because we were in a house, and then I asked from the uncle what's going on with this, and he said, like, these two are connected or something like that, and because of when one thing is moving, the other one also start moving, something similar. And then I realized, wow, this is exactly what is happening, Kaushik. Like, at that time, I had the time, and I really wanted to inquire and see what's going on in reality. But most of the time, when someone encounters something off like that, they just run away without just going towards it. What I'm saying is, go face it and see for yourself this really what's going on. I know it's not easy, challenging, but what I'm saying is, go towards it and see for yourself.
See if it's really there or not, yeah?
Exactly. Go, why not you just face it and see that for yourself.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And then the next thing is, and another thing I can ask people to do is start meditating.
Start meditating on what?
Not on anything, just meditate.
Okay.
So then you will start becoming more and more aware. So because I was meditating,
I would probably suggest that you should meditate on the truth. Yeah. And what is the truth? We've talked about this, that memory is a lie. It does not exist. In reality, it does not exist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that is the truth. So whenever a thought pops up, a thought of a ghost or anything, you see the truth in that thought.
Yeah.
That the thought is in itself a lie. It's not the truth. So always stick to the truth, meditate on truth.
Yeah, exactly. Just go within yourself and see what's going on. And then those things will become more and more obvious for you. This is what's
non-existent,
exactly. I realized that the fear that is coming, that I got the fear to stay with even someone who is very like my own brother, because like it's because of this, that is, and then I just went to the root cause, and then the paranormal activity, this particular scene, which is really like, this is exactly.
Yeah, I get your point.
Going on, yeah.
So do you have anything else to add, like meditating?
Yeah, another thing I want to say, that raise your vibration. You must be in a very low vibration level, and so it's very important that you raise your vibration up and stay in that high vibration. Only these low vibration levels can really attract these kind of things into your life, so you can do things, because if you take what is the opposite of fear, it is love, that this itself shows that there's not much really love in your life. There's so much fear, because that's why fear has taken over your life. There's not so much love in your life. So,
so how does one cultivate love?
I think the best relationship is with yourself. You don't really need a partner in order for you to feel loved or anything like that. Start loving yourself and give the love and give what you haven't got in your childhood. You must have. There were some needs that you haven't met as a child, for example, like someone could not feel safe. So make yourself feel safe. Till you can use the affirmation, I am safe.
Okay.
You can tell that, like, as the affirmation, I'm safe in this moment. And these things are important. You are just affirming yourself. And what I suggest is start loving yourself. The best relationship is the relationship that you have with yourself.
And I would just like to add another point in this. Along with the affirmation, saying that I am safe. Along with that, also try to understand what is the I.
Exactly. That's so important. I mean, if you can figure that out, that's it.
That's it. So just uncover everything else, like whatever is not you, just throw it away and just keep what is you, like what is the I, and what is the I that is feeling safe, and what is the I that is feeling afraid. So along with that affirmation, also
just ask. You can. That's a good one you just shared. You can ponder, who is the one who is afraid to go for ghosts?
Absolutely.
Who is the one who is afraid of ghosts? Go find that person inside you, and if you figure out that's the end of your suffering.
And when that person is found, you'll see. I don't want to talk about this, because I don't want to.
That could be
give
another
my point of view.
Maybe.
Yes. That could totally be another topic. But what I'm trying to say is, when you reach that I, you reach love, and from there you tap on it.
Exactly.
It doesn't sound easy, I understand, but it doesn't have to be hard either. So
exactly. Yeah. I think that is like the ultimate solution for the whole thing.
Absolutely.
That's it. Like, then there you will never be worried about any ghosts, because, as I said, your mind equals to your world. So, like,
absolutely,
that's exactly what is happening. Yeah.
But to lose that fear, like right instantly, you just help yourself with whatever tool that is available to you, which is also something that you said, affirmations. Say to yourself that, I am safe, I am loved. There is only love
Exactly.
around me.
Yeah.
Or even I am love. How,
Exactly.
may sound
And
crazy, but
I am supported. I am supported. There's so much abundance in this life, and
absolutely.
yeah, exactly.
Beautiful. So, do you have any more points to add on this
No, another
that can
one
help?
point, because it is like the last one which we just discussed, is a really big point, as well as it's very
It's a
deep.
powerful one. Yeah.
It's not everyone has the luxury, like so.
Absolutely.
So, like, I could add another one point, like everything is energy, so if you can, I know, like, sometimes, like, I'm not really someone who is into externally, like someone who's always supporting people to go within. But then again, if you feel that you need some external, like, anchors or something like that, then have things which grounds you. Things like a Buddha statue could be, or a picture of someone who is realized, and then those things have energies, and you can have things like that. So because everything is energy
Yeah,
at
just like
the end. So
how
as it,
light
I
is an
mean,
energy. Yeah. Like when you switch on the light, like you'll see that your fear like drops down a little.
mm, mm,
So yeah, I mean, I understand when you say that everything is
yeah.
energy.
So if
And
that helps you, like sometimes I've seen that people, like those who are afraid, of course, they take the cross and, like things like that I've seen. So like if that, like, I mean, these things, I mean, if you can have someone who is realized, because a realized person is nothing but love, so you can have those things as, like, I mean, a picture or a statue or something which grounds you, hanging around or somewhere, so that it helps you, and also mentally,
yes,
you
please continue.
you feel mentally safe. So do things like that as well, I suggest. Yeah.
Totally, totally agree with you on that. I guess that pretty much answers the question. Yeah, I mean, why are we afraid? And it gives a number of ways to help, someone who's going through that fear, and also for yourself. If you're afraid of all these things, this is all you need to do. If you do that, I hope, like, you won't be needing to take any kind of medications for all these things, because it starts from here. It starts from within. So that's where it must be dealt,
Exactly. And also, like, imagine someone, Kaushik, imagine someone who hasn't gone through a number of days sleep, and those things start adding up. Like imagine someone has not slept for 10, 15 days. So that person, like, now start hallucinating, and things like that happens outside, like, them, and then and things like that also can add up, and could be problematic, but at the
absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Because then once you start having the hallucinations and things like that, so I just want to add that also.
Absolutely, yeah. And if you see that you have a problem in your body, it's very important that you treat that problem, with whatever means necessary. If you have to go to the hospital, do it. If you have to go to see a doctor, do it. If you see that you have a problem in your body, physical thing.
Also, sleep, like if you really go through, it's like you can't sleep and all that for a longer period, then definitely take at least a sleeping pill and sleep, because otherwise things can get complicated, That's how this hallucination and all these mental disorders come about afterwards, because these things can really add up to the problem, like, just wanted to add that too. Yeah.
I feel like experimenting with insomnia. Dilmi, what do you think? What do you think about that?
Insomnia.
Yeah, because when you tell me all these things, like what insomnia does and all, I just feel like experimenting with it. I mean, call me a kid or whatever, but I just want to try it,
Staying without sleep.
Yeah, staying without sleep.
I don't really recommend
the most
that.
difficult thing. Yeah. I don't think even Buddha can stay without sleep.
Yeah, like, of course. Like, I don't really recommend that, but like, if you want to try, that will definitely.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's not advised for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a crazy fella. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's why even like we have the interview today.
Totally not recommended. Yeah.
Because can you share me that that was so funny what you did? You went to a cemetery and what?
You sure you want to
that's
hear
another
that story?
reason why I chose this topic.
So yeah, so I went to the cemetery like I guess last year with a friend, and it was around it was past midnight. Yeah, it was 2 a.m. in the morning. So we kind of went and sat, and then we started drinking. Yeah. So I mean, what do you do with friends? Yeah. So we started drinking, and then you know what happens when you start drinking. You start going a bit cuckoo. Yeah. And yeah, so we started singing. It started with songs. Yeah, so we started singing, and then things got a little out of hand, like so we started dancing. And then we started calling for ghosts. We were just calling them, like we were like asking them to join us, but unfortunately, it led to nothing. So we just went back home drunk. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go into the details, but yeah, this is what happened.
And another thing, like I'm coming from a Buddhist background, so I have heard something called hungry ghosts.
Hungry ghosts. Wow.
Have you heard of that?
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
What is it?
So in the scriptures, they are talking about hungry ghosts.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Exactly.
I see what you mean. They ghosts say that, who are hungry for experiences, just like ourselves. Yeah.
Like ghosts who are very, very hungry and they are very thirsty, and they look very, very. I mean, I will try to put a picture of hungry ghost in the thumbnail so that people can see.
Stop scaring people. You're here to help them.
And with Kaushik and picture and also with
that'll be so traumatizing. Please don't do that, Dilmi. I mean, please,
Just kidding. Anyway, so honestly, so that they can see for themselves who are hungry ghosts, and they're very hungry and thirsty. Like these are in the scriptures, the details of that.
Okay.
They literally say they are somewhere outside. So it's like they are somewhere in the location. These hungry ghosts exist.
Okay.
That's like sort of scriptures. That's how that conveys. Okay. And then also they say that there are fire coming from these ghosts.
Out of these ghosts, yeah.
It's because they are burning inside, and then so they are thirsty and all that, and they eat very like they eat human beings shit and very, very like urine and things like that. And it's so very disgusting way they've been, like very much portrayed in the scriptures. But then when I went through the awakening, I realized this is not that the hungry ghosts are somewhere in a location. This is a mental state. Literally, like imagine someone who is very, very, like for example, someone who is very, very attached to something, And for example, I remember one time I saw a woman. There was this one problem with like let's say there's okay, let's say there's a couple, and then the man is talking to another woman or something, some story like that. Okay, and then the woman then the other woman, the couple's woman, just get to know about this whole scenario, and then the woman calls the other person, you know.
Okay.
Did you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting to know the affair of the a couple, and then the person goes and goes. I'm just taking an example, you know.
Yeah.
And let's take, like, when this woman calling the other woman, like, they are very attached to their partner. That is the best example that's like with the attachment that comes to my mind, because I've seen that how much women and men are being possessive with their partner, you know. And then, so like,
Are they?
Of course.
All right, okay.
So like, I mean, like majority, I would say. So, and so in times like that, I've seen like even scenarios like this where this particular woman is completely burning inside. Then when they're blasting the other woman, that particular person is just completely burning inside there, you know. So I realized this whole hungry ghost concept is nothing but a mental state. Now imagine at that particular moment, that woman is so attached to that man, and that particular thing really burns her, like really, she's like burning, and that is what I really realized, that is why that the fire is coming out of this ghost. And but then later I realized this is not some ghost, some kind of location. It's just a mental state. Imagine someone is very, very attached to some particular thing. Maybe someone could be very attached to their house. They have so much desire and they want that house so much. So like each time something happens to the house, you're burning inside, and that is mental state, you know.
Absolutely. And that's totally mental. Yeah.
Exactly. So that I wanted to add up, because this is like,
I mean, we are the burning ghosts, you know, like it's not outside or anything. It's us.
Like you can go to those mental, if you are attached to something very much like firmly, like this is it, you could be in that hungry ghost state. That's just how it is. And they're like, this is how it is. There are people who live in like code level, frequency, mind state, and there are people who live in hungry ghost level with the mind state, and there's like human level who stay in this that frequency just varies, you know. So I want to say that just the mental state, it's nothing to do with some, you know, like someone outside. And even the scripture is supposed to change, you know, accordingly. And otherwise people have this idea that, oh, these ghosts are somewhere like in this way. Yeah.
I totally understand. Yeah. So realizing that, you know, like it's all mental actually, you know, it's all within. So just as we talked about, you know, like it's in the memory, and seeing the truth, you know, in the memory, you know, like what it is, and going to the root will actually will definitely help, you know, like that's where the answer lies. Perfect. So I hope we've answered, you know, like you answered all the questions I asked. Do you have any more questions for me?
I really wanted to ask about that experience that you went to the cemetery.
So embarrassing. You embarrassed me in front of a camera.
And that is the reason why I chose the topic ghost, you know, which is, And anyway, that's pretty much it, right? Do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. I think we've shared everything that there is to say, you know, about this.
Yeah. So love yourself and be in love and raise your vibration. And
yes, absolutely. Become the embodiment of love.
Yeah, because the opposite of fear is nothing but love. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then let's find out.
All right. Thank you so much,
then
Didi, for having me here. And
take care.
And see ya.
See you.